Hi, this is Don McAllister, and welcome to another edition of Screencasts Online. It's an all iOS show this week because I'll be taking a look at the brand new application from Apple called Clips. Clips is available for both the iPhone and iPad. It's been designed to help you create and publish short videos on your mobile device, taking a lot of cues from existing social media apps, but adding some unique features. Now, Clips is really designed as a new way to create and edit video and then seamlessly share via social media. Now, on the face of it, it could be considered a fairly simple application, but it does have some hidden depths, and you can also use Clips as a standalone video editor.